Hello there everybody, thank you very much for joining me with this video. My name's Shane, aka Storm Security, and I'm also known as Shell Droppers. In this video here, I'm going to discuss the 6 stages of a cyber incident response plan. Without further ado, let's get started. So in stage 1, you've got the preparation stage. So the preparation stage is typically where you would have the tools, processes and procedures in place to be able to deal with an incident. So you've been alerted, there's something going on in the environment. Somebody has reported to you ransomware, for example, has been detected on 5 or 6 machines and is spreading rapidly throughout the network. So in this stage here, you'll be calling up stakeholders, you'll be calling up the Security Operations Center, you'll be maybe calling up the dedicated security team that you have in place, alerting them to the fact that there's an incident, and of course they would then need to jump on and have a look, see what's going on, and they'd be able to formulate some kind of process or procedure to be able to actually deal with this. Moving forward, you've got the identification phase. So in this phase here, the Security Operations Center or your security team will be able to kind of look at the detections in the environment, identify what those detections are, identify any indicators of compromise in those environments. You could have, I don't know, something chirping on the firewall stating that X machine on X network on X subnet is reaching out to a known command and control infrastructure via this IP address. Well, that's a good indicator of compromise. So you've identified there that something's going on. You might want to have a look at your detections in the environment. So you'd be pulling information from your system information event management tool. You'll be pulling information from your anti-malware, antivirus product that you might be using. You could be using a complete suite that has multiple different capabilities from anti-malware. You might have a firewall via a cloud infrastructure setup that you might have that will be able to aggregate data to and from endpoints and firewalls. You might have maybe a secure email gateway solution, so you're detecting kind of phishing going on. Again, you're in the identification phase, you're looking at all of these detections and you're kind of formulating a picture as to what's going on. Once you've got that identification down, and you know what you're dealing with and you're able to then kind of go ahead and respond to that, you're going to be in the containment phase. So the containment phase here would be once the incident has been identified, the incident response team will need to contain it to be able to effectively stop the spread of what's going on and to be able to kind of stem the bleed and to be able to possibly, even if a certain subnet of your network is under active attack and some part of your other networks are not, you might want to start thinking about kind of segregating that network away from the rest of your infrastructure. So that's going to be able to contain the breach or the behavior or whatever's going on in your environment to a specific subset of your network, and you'd be able to kind of continue working, and then your incident response team can kind of go into that part of the network or those machines that are kind of impacted by whatever incident is going on, and be able to just focus on that. It's limiting the damage to your environment, and that needs to be done quite quickly. So your preparation and your identification stage really needs to be done quite quickly to be able to really get to stage 3, which is that containment phase, which is really important. Once you're able to actually contain that threat, you're going to be moving on to the eradication now. So the eradication phase of an incident response could be anything from re-imaging machines to really going deep down and dirty into the bowels of what's going on and removing each indicator of compromise, removing each piece of malware that's going on, removing any unknown user accounts. So you could have guest accounts, you could have unknown administrator accounts, you might have something in Active Directory that you don't recognize and that has full administrator permissions over your network, you would want to remove that. Moving on to recovery now. So you've gone through your preparation, your identification, your containment, you've eradicated the threats, you're now into the recovery. So this could be, say, if it's ransomware, you'll re-image the machines in stage 4, you're back up to a clean slate. So you've got to bring those machines back onto the network. You've got to patch those machines. You've got to reinstall whatever applications and services that you have on those machines, reinstall the antivirus product or whatever security vendor that you're using back onto those machines. And then once you've kind of got those systems back online from recovery, you should have been over the eradication, containment, and identification phase. You should have been logging what was going on and documenting the issue. So that's going to feed into your lessons learned. So your lessons learned would typically comprise of what happened. To be able to learn from those mistakes, you could have something like a Horizon ESXi server, virtual environment, whatever, that was unpatched. You might have had exposed RDP ports with weak authentication. Any number of things. This should have been, like I said, picked up in the identification and containment phase, and then that would then be presented to possibly stakeholders, other management, upper tier management folks within your organization, and then you would have a good picture of what happened, why it happened, what you did to fix it, and how you're going to not allow that to occur again in the future. Once you've gone through, stages 1 to 6, the incident is over, you've recovered, you've done your lessons learned. That's it. You walk away from that. Look, there could be a stage 7 in there. There could be law enforcement kind of stuff going on, which would feed into the identification and containment phase. So if you are going to involve law enforcement, there's probably going to need to be digital forensics involved. So that's going to come in, between really identification, containment, and eradication. You can't eradicate the threat until you've documented what it is, you've done some forensics, you've got some answers. You might want to take those forensic results to law enforcement. Law enforcement may then want to decide to arrest said hacker, cracker, malicious threat actor, and then of course that's you done. So there's not a lot of steps here. In some cases, in some organizations, depending on where you work, it could be aerospace, it could be defense. Obviously, there's going to be some more steps in the incident response plan there. But this is just a basic overview of those steps. So I hope that this has been informative for you. Leave a comment. Feel free. Please like, subscribe, etc., etc. And we'll see you in the next video. Thanks a million. Catch you later.